If you're in Australia and you pay a power bill, stick around for the next few minutes. This is a really interesting thing because the government seemingly they've become a little bit ballsy because there is a new policy coming out next year, in the middle of next year. It promises free electricity for basically everybody in certain parts of the country for 3 hours a day. And it's happening and it is going ahead. So at first glance, sounds really, really nice, sounds quite nice, but in my view, there are some really serious questions hanging over it, a couple of red flags, questions that could matter a lot if you've got solar panels or even if you don't. So I'll take you through what it is and how it works, and most importantly, what it really means. Plus, later on, I'll tell you the one detail that your energy retailer is very unlikely to mention to you, of which there are probably many, such as how many yachts you've bought them this quarter. Hello folks, my name is Ben Alexander. Thank you very much for tuning in. These people are the channel members, and yeah, thank you very much to Spiker Speed for joining as a top tier member. Please send me an email so that I can add you to the WhatsApp group. Let's start with this scheme and what this is. So the federal government has announced what they're calling Solar Sharer. And also, just in case you're from the UK, you might not know this, but in the UK you have one government and it's one country. Australia, you've got different governments. You've got the federal government, kind of like America, and then you've got different states. So you've got New South Wales government, the government of Queensland, South Australia, that sort of thing. They're requiring energy retailers in New South Wales, so that's one of the big states in Australia, Southeast Queensland as well, so that's the bottom half of Queensland, and South Australia initially, to offer households free electricity for 3 hours a day in the middle of the day when solar generation is very, very high. For example, if you are in Brisbane, I know this for sure because every time I go to a family member's house that I know, I look on the little solar screen and it tells you on the inverter how much power they're putting in. As soon as it's 9, 10 in the morning, the 5 kilowatt system on their house is producing about 5 kilowatts. It's really like amazing for sun in Australia. So this seems pretty ballsy, I reckon. They're telling energy companies to give free power away for 3 hours a day in 2025. I think that is genuinely, that's a bit ballsy. You don't see that sort of stuff going on for a couple of reasons. The government and energy companies seemingly are pretty friendly with each other in various parts of the world, and you just wouldn't expect it really because there's so much money involved and they're kind of so friendly. So this is a bit of a rude one for them, maybe. And you wonder what's really going on. You don't need to have rooftop solar panels to qualify, but you do need a smart meter, which is I think pretty standard in Australia now. And you'll need to shift your usage into that free period window if you're charging a car or, I don't know, using a lot of electricity. The official line from the Energy Minister, who is a person called Chris Bowen, is, quote, use your big appliances during the day and we'll share the excess sunshine with everyone. That's the quote, even if you live in a unit or a flat or something like that. So, okay, so far so good. This sounds nice in a word, and that's suspicious in and of itself. So here's the point. Point number one. Who benefits and how and why is this happening? If you do have solar panels, this is a potential extra win for you. You already generate in the middle of the day, and now for those 3 hours, if you wanted to request, say for example, 12 kilowatts from the grid or from your house plug sockets, but you're producing 10, you get that last bit for free. So therefore for you, even for that 3 hours there, even if you've got a really good system, it's free for everybody. Even if you're charging a car or something like that. So it just amplifies your savings. If you don't have solar, this is of course a big deal, you have a chance to access free power for certain hours, which is a very big deal for a lot of renters or people who haven't invested in solar panels. So on the face of it, everybody wins. It's all pretty merry, but, and here is where it gets kind of tricky, and this is where number 2 kicks in, my second point. What does it mean for everyday life for everybody and for your bills, generally speaking? If you're able to schedule your dishwasher or your washing machine or EV charger or your heat pumps or heaters and that sort of stuff to run in that free window, for that 3 hour window, yeah, you should probably save. For example, some articles suggesting savings of 8%, 20 and 32% was another one for households that managed to shift very effectively the loads for electricity. That was from an article written in the press in Adelaide, I believe. But if you're out at work, you've got children, or you're just not using your big appliances midday, or you still can't shift your load for whatever reason that is, and we don't need to know. But for those people, the benefit's going to be quite a lot smaller because obviously there's just nothing on at your house anyway. So that free window will happen whilst you're not even able to use it. So some critics are warning that the people who can't adapt may see little change apart from their bills get even bigger. Now, the point I want to make as well, the last point, number 3, the catch. What they don't tell you, because the free window sounds good, but someone has to pay for it. Energy companies can ping back on this if they want to and say that this is costing them a lot of money, so they have to up the prices a little extra, and also plus some tax on that little extra, or whatever it is they want to stick on it. Retailers and the grid have still got costs, basically. So some experts warn that lowering prices for midday may lead to higher prices outside that window, like morning and peaks, evening peaks and that sort of stuff. Also, access is conditional. So households must pick the offer and have a smart meter and shift usage, so it's not automatic. You don't just get it, you've got to do some stuff to get it. And if you have solar and a battery already, then you might ask, will this reduce the value of my export feed-in tariff or disadvantage me because the scheme shifts how the grid values midday usage? Some analysts are saying yes, that is possible. I would imagine so too. So what does this mean if you're like me, someone who keeps an eye on the solar? I've got a 150 kilowatt hour setup at home for batteries, and if you have solar, you're in a very good position, I think, but you'll want to check your inverter or battery system, check whether your plan aligns with the free 3-hour window, and make sure you genuinely shift your usage. And, it's going to be hard for some people, I'm sure. If you don't have solar, this is a chance, but it is a conditional one, not a guarantee of some big savings. And if you're in a state outside of the initial rollout, for example, Victoria or Western Australia, you'll probably be waiting longer and the terms may differ. So here's the one detail that energy retailers probably won't highlight. Just because your free hours are free doesn't guarantee that everything else is going to be cheaper outside of that window. So in fact, if you don't adapt your usage, you could end up paying more during other times of the day. So while you're celebrating your free load, you've got 3 hours of free energy, you may notice that you'll get a bill and it will be, your tariff will go up 17% or something like that. So you need to do some maths and just see what will actually happen. So in short, yes, this policy has the potential to cut costs and encourage solar-friendly behaviour, but it's not a free lunch, I don't think at all. I don't think it's exactly what they've dressed it up to be. The benefit depends a lot on how you live, whether you can shift your usage, whether you've got solar, and what tariff structure looks like outside of that free window. As in, are the governments telling the power companies to give energy for free, but still going to allow the tariff price to be shot up to cover costs or that sort of thing, which probably is not going to cost them any more money, of course. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'm very, very keen to hear what people are thinking about this one, because I can see a couple of red flags. It's suspicious, at the very least. Thank you for watching. I'm Ben Alexander, and see you in the next video.